I hope everyone's doing good in this quarantine. We're just trying to stay alive, stay out here. So
A couple weeks ago, my typography professor sent us a documentary on Helvetica by Gary Hoshowitz. So Gary Hoshowitz is like this filmmaker, and he does like this.
he does a bunch of design documentaries.
And for the quarantine, he releases a new documentary every week, because you have to pay for it or rent it, but like he releases it for free every week for the quarantine to like keep people sane or whatever.
I love like Gary. I think Hoshowitz is his name.
Gary Hoshowitz is his name.
Yeah. So he did this Objectified one. I remember watching that in like Sam's dorm with him. Like we watched that. It was so interesting. Like I love his documentaries because it really goes into design and like talks to different designers. And yeah, so
I think last week the one he released for the week was Rams, and that's the Dida Rams documentary. And Dida Rams is an industrial designer, and he worked at Braun, but for 1961 to 1995 he was the chief, like the head designer at Braun.
Yeah. So actually how we found what we are going to talk about in this video, the bag is you were going on.
I found it on Tumblr, actually.
Not Twitter, Tumblr. My bad.
I found it on Tumblr because I think it was after watching the documentary, and then I was like, bro, this shit is sick. And then I was looking at different like things like he designed, and I seen like the Super 8 camera he did, which was sick. I see like the
remember the vinyls?
Yeah, and then the
vinyl player, like the open casket one.
Yeah,
I thought
so
the design of the idea for that was
just
so
Snow
sick.
White.
Snow White.
And then he has like different. I stumbled across this bag he did in 2018. The bag released with Satsas. German.
Don't know if I pronounced that right.
I don't know if I pronounced it right, because it felt like. But yeah, he did it with Satsas.
Yeah.
Satsas.
Dida Rams like design, before we start talking about this bag, like his designs are so cool because he was designing stuff in like the 60s, the 70s, and like if you look at the stuff he designed today, like they could live in like
I feel like it's beautiful because his designs are like
timeless, like truly timeless.
Because it's like they were a commercial, like they did well when they came out, and like they revolutionized like items in the home.
They even had like this thing in MoMA. I think he said it. He said in the documentary that like they took some of.
And like you could see like his designs in like the time where they did good, and they could see crossover to today in like modern day, where like you see it and it's like it's seamless and it looks beautiful, and it's like the whole like minimalist, less is more concept that he applies to most of the products that he designs. So while he was at Braun,
he traveled to he was making they wanted to make a leather pouch for the Braun shaver.
Yeah.
When did he make the bag?
He made the bag in 1963, when he was in Germany trying to make when he was working with this leather company. He made this bag for his wife Ingeborg that he met in 1955.
Yeah, and it's actually like interesting because Ingeborg was like a photographer for Braun when like he worked there.
Yeah, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right because it's German, but
and like he's still with her. Like you see her like in the documentary, but it's
still
like
it's
the
mad
sickest.
Cute.
It's like the sickest.
It's mad cute.
It's like the sickest thing.
But yeah, so he made this bag, but he made the bag as a one-off
just for her.
So
like no, I don't think anyone knew
like he designed like he did like fashion, because he doesn't even care about fashion. He says his favorite designer is Jill Sanders.
Yeah, because she speaks the same design language like he could understand her design language.
Because he doesn't really like,
but he doesn't really like fashion. But like I just found like this like accessory he made was so cool,
so sick, and it was
so like, he made it with this brand Satsas.
I mean, so he made the bag in 1963, and then after like 50 years, because the bag just came out in 2018. So after November 30th, 2018, I think it was. But after so many years, he met with the Satsas founders, Demetrio and Esther Schultz Satsas.
Yeah.
And they worked. So Satsas is
It's like they make bags.
Like
that's what
it's like a bag company in and the heritage of the brand is the Demetrio, his father was a leather goods like maker. Like he made for like 30 years. So he just basically followed in his father's footsteps. He studied interior design while his wife studied architecture, and they have both worked in the field.
But that's literally like the power couple. Imagine, that's crazy.
And then
that's actually fire.
Because he never had, De La Rams never had plans to release this bag, but on meeting them, I don't know, it fucked with their vision.
He said that he likes like what they were doing, and apart from him fucking with the people that made the bag, like another reason he decided to do it is like to pay homage to like his wife. So the brand was made into the Satsas. The brand was founded in 2012 by Demetrio and Esther, and they worked on this bag that released in 2018. And it's a beautiful. And what was interesting was like the bag was like where Demetrio and Esther make their bags.
In Offenbach was the same place where he went. Where he designed the bag
to design the shaver.
So that was interesting. That's interesting. So the bag was made with a calf skin leather with a detachable shoulder.
Yeah, and I find it so interesting because like the Esther said, like they didn't really have to do so much to the bag, which I find so interesting because like you designed the bag 50 years ago, and like they're making it for 2018, and like they didn't have to do they said they didn't have to do much. They just added like a hand strap so you could like carry the bag, and they added like an interior zipper,
and they put like
a blue, I think it was a blue Napa.
Blue something, I don't know, blue, but they didn't
touch the
outside, so the outside remained the same. So like to design, which is like, the beautiful thing about the concept, is like to design something that's like timeless and like could be like
last like the test of time
forever. Like I feel like that bag could still
stand if it could come from 50 years ago and
still be relevant today.
Zeitgeist, then it could like I find it so cool.
So it's the beauty of design. So De La Rams is someone you should look into if you haven't. He's a beautiful old German man, and he does his thing. His house is beautiful though, like in the documentary. His house is like a fire. It's like, imagine living in a space where you like design like all the, like to the kettle, to the coffee like maker, to the
literally
like everything.
And then I remember like in the documentary, like he said like his thing was like that like house like appliances are made to be used. So like they should not be out in your face.
They should just be in the surrounding. And it's so beautiful because everything he makes like could all live. It's like a whole family. Like they could all live. So like his space, they could all live together, and not one is taking too much attention, or like not one. I don't know. It's beautiful. Look into De La Rams. Thank you for watching this video today. Like and subscribe, but don't do that shit.